All right, here we go. It is episode 12 of Parx Sportsbook presents the OGs podcast. Jason Martinez, Harry Mays. What is going on, huh?
Man, I'm in the middle of my Florida swing. The wife and I came down here to Florida for a 2-week sojourn with a lot of golf and relaxation and, fine food and wine and accoutrement. And we're in the middle of it, man. We're coming to you live from the Ponte Vedra Inn and Club right on the beach at Ponte Vedra Beach, which is not far outside of Jacksonville, Florida.
Wow. And what's the temperature like down there, Harry?
It's beautiful. It's like in the high 60s, low 70s. Yesterday we played golf. It was upper 70s, and just perfect weather. We've had great weather. And today we make the trip out of here and go to the Gulf side of the state, about 3.5 hours to my mom's place. And we'll hunker down there for a couple of days and play golf in and around. There's some really great courses in and around where she lives. And then we head back up and a little stop off in Myrtle Beach for 2 nights, to sort of break up the trip half and half. It's about
another round in Myrtle, Harry?
Yeah, a couple rounds in Myrtle, and then we get back home.
Now, a couple rounds of drinks or a couple rounds of golf?
Oh, both. Yeah, both. Absolutely. We were up in Amelia Island yesterday, man. That's a sweet little spot.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I love this northeast part of Florida. It's like an extension of the low country of South Carolina and Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Where you got that the Spanish moss off of the live oak trees, and it's
yeah.
just a really cool. It's there's not palm trees necessarily, but it's kind of rural and country, and it's really cool. I love it.
Yeah. It's almost weird when you go down there, like especially in a month like of February, and it's going, wait, it's actually like almost springish, summerish in some place in our country, and I'm up there living in this tundra.
Yeah. All it takes, Jason, is literally like a 12 to 14-hour trip in the car down I-95. It took us 14 hours in a straight shot. I did it. I didn't, she didn't drive. I drove the whole way. I would have been really good as an over-the-road trucker, like a long-haul trucker. I think in maybe a past life I might have done that because, just put me in the cab, man, and I just start, hitting the gears and we go. And we stop, we only stopped because the wife had to go to the bathroom. I'm like a freaking camel. Yeah. Like if I was traveling with you, we'd probably have to stop every 15 miles.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. There wouldn't be one state I wouldn't take a leak in. Put it that way. I mark my territory on the way down, Harry.
Right.
My is like a passport. And I'm stamping it.
All right, now here's the question, though. Like, do you pull over to the rest area and find like a restroom in a restaurant or a hotel, or do you just pull over and go right off to the side of I-95? Like, what do you do?
No, I find a place to piss outside.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
We saw some of that coming down. Like people will pull off and then they open up the back car door and then their front car door and they sort of stand in between.
Yeah.
So I guess nobody can see him or what's going on over there.
It's a great stall. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're creating a homemade stall. I think I probably have taken a leak at outdoors at every one of those states on the way down.
Is that right?
Well, I mean, you're talking what? Delaware, Maryland.
Yep.
Virginia.
Yep. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and then Florida. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've already those states are all stamped in my passport as far as pissing outside. Yes.
As is my driveway in suburban Philadelphia.
That is correct, Harry.
Right.
Let's talk about Parx real quick because all of a sudden football's over.
Yeah.
And this element of our lives of, oh my God, what's the line this weekend? Who's playing who? Is the line going to move on this game? What's the over? And all that for football is all gone all of a sudden. It's like this great big void has put into our lives. But you like betting college hoops, pro hoops and all that too. So
yeah, I mean, we're gonna have the Sixers. The NBA starting up, I guess, tonight after the All-Star break. Sixers get back at it tomorrow night in Minnesota, and we're anticipating the debut of James Harden in a 76ers jersey, which I understand from John Clark's social media that it is the #1 selling jersey according to Fanatics in the country, maybe in the world right now.
Wow.
James Harden's Sixers jersey. But yeah, I'm dialed in on a little college hoops tonight. I was watching some last night, and tonight the Temple Owls, who are pretty hot right now. They got a bunch of young freshmen and sophomores and redshirt freshmen that are just, they don't know what they don't know, but they're playing really well together, coming together as a team. They just beat Cincinnati, which is a big win on the road. And now they go to Memphis with a stiffer challenge at Memphis at the FedEx Forum tonight. They're catching 11.5 points. I just looked at the Parx app. I'm going to ride with the Owls plus the 11.5 tonight at Memphis.
Wow. Okay. So the Temple Owl playing some good hoops.
Yeah, they are. They're up to 15-9 is their record. And, they've won, I think, like 4 or 5 of their last 6 or 7 ball games. And, it's just really kind of cool. That's one of the things that I've always enjoyed about college basketball is you see teams in November when they first start out in these like tournament settings, in neutral sites, taking on all types of, opponents, and they're raw and they're rough. And it's, there's not maybe a sense of cohesiveness. And then you start to see them, sort of get into it in January and February, and they start to really gel. And it's really kind of cool to see sort of the evolution of a basketball team over the course of a season leading up to March Madness.
Yeah, the team you see in the beginning of the year oftentimes will not be that team that you see at the end of February.
Yeah.
That's what's really cool. It's the evolution of a team. Everybody get the Parx Sportsbook app, download it, put it on your phone, and check it out. Just navigate around, putz around on it a little bit, see what it has to offer. And right now, if you just download the app, open an account, deposit, risk-free bet up to $500, it's that simple. And you can get in on all the action. First to score, exact score in hockey,
player performances,
same game parlays,
same game parlay,
it's all kinds of great stuff. And make sure you follow Parx on the social channels at Parx Sportsbook on Twitter. Follow them on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook as well, and check out all the great features of the Parx Sportsbook app.
Well, Go ahead. No, I was just going to say, like, before we're done here, you're going to have to fill me in on what's been going on locally over here for the last week, because I've kind of been out of touch.
All right. Well, we'll do like
scene.
We'll do like a rapid fire segment of get Harry caught up. We should have some music for that, like some Benny Hill music or something like that. But Harry, we have really big NFL news. I don't know if you saw this down in Jacksonville, but Troy Aikman is going to be leaving the Fox broadcast booth and heading to ESPN and ABC. And I got to say, I'm really shocked because you would think that Fox would really kind of pony up for Aikman to make sure that this didn't happen. I guess there's always a line that you can't cross. And I don't see anybody on their roster that replaces Aikman with Joe Buck. This is pretty stunning to me.
As far as internally you're talking about, from Fox. I don't know. I mean, I'd have to go through some of the names, but I did see that Andrew Marchand, I believe I saw it on Twitter that, that was the big move. And that's been kind of rumored for a while now that Aikman was going to move away. They didn't know if it was going to maybe be like an Amazon pluck him away, because they've been getting involved in the NFL broadcasting too on those Thursday night games on Amazon Prime, but it ends up being Monday Night Football. And that's going to make, Monday Night Football, it kind of, that crew was okay, that 3-man crew that they had, but you put Aikman in there with the right play-by-play guy. He's great. I mean, him and Buck, I know everybody in Philadelphia wants to rip on Joe Buck. Everybody in basically every other city, maybe except St. Louis, loves to rip on Joe Buck. But I think by and large, he's really pretty good. And he and Aikman were a great tandem.
Yeah. I think they just played off each other beautifully. Brian Griese's contract expired at the end of the season.
Okay.
And I don't know if Riddick's contract did or not, but so it was Steve Levy, Brian Griese, and Lou Riddick.
Right.
But I mean, with Aikman, I don't even know that you go 3-man booth. I think you just go play-by-play and him.
Well, you and I both know, like, it's a big difference in the dynamic working with a 2-person, play-by-play color analyst crew or a 3-man. You really need a really skilled play-by-play guy to sort of, hand the ball off here, you know what I mean, to both sides and keep everybody going without anybody stepping on. And I think Levy does a really good job with that. So I don't know Riddick is really good. I mean, there've been rumors about him being hired away by, an NFL front office too. I mean, I know that's
right.
Pittsburgh was the last thing I saw about a week or two ago. So who knows if that's happened? I think that's, ideally what he really wants to do. But if it was just Levy and Aikman, I think that would be pretty good too.
Yeah. I think if you have Aikman, you have to go 2-man booth. And, going 3, then he's kind of like deferring to the other guy to
Yeah.
get.
Yeah.
And I mean, can you believe though, Harry? He's been a broadcaster now for 20 years.
It's unbelievable. You think about, back to his
Crazy.
football career, winning all those championships with the Dallas Cowboys. That was when Dallas was great. The last time they haven't. Think about that. Like Troy Aikman's been in the broadcast booth for how many years? What did you say? 22?
20 years.
20 years. Okay.
Yeah.
Dallas has sucked basically for 20 years. They've been mediocre to suck for
since
20
he went
years.
to the booth.
Exactly right. But yeah, I just thought of it. Like, how could you have a 3-man booth? You got to afford to pay them. They're bucking up major dollars.
Oh.
I don't know if you've seen the number because I haven't, but it has to be extraordinary, especially since Fox didn't, counter and was able to keep him. So in order to pay him, you probably got to get rid of, 2 of those 3 voices.
Yeah. Andrew Marchand said the deal, a 5-year deal, expected to approach $17.5 million per year.
Wow.
Oh my God. I mean, that's quarterback money.
Oh my goodness. That's awesome. Good for him.
I mean, this NFL generates so much frigging cash. It's I mean, talk about just the rights to broadcast the games.
Yeah.
Billions of dollars. And this is just bananas. Anybody pop out to you, Harry, that could jump into that booth? I mean, Ben Roethlisberger retired, but he's got the personality of a napkin.
No way. No. I know, everybody's going to think Peyton Manning, but I think, I don't know what his contract is with. I mean, it's with ESPN, ABC, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's got a
Manning
couple more years, I think, on that. So that would probably rule both he and Eli out. Boy, I'm trying to think like, Drew Brees is with NBC. I don't think he's all that good, at least not to start. He's going to have to really work his way in there. Boy, no, I'm not
like
getting
Romo
any names.
jumped out, right? And was different and really good. Aikman was more stoic and just really good and structured.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we even remember Aikman in the very beginning because it was 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know that there's a personality that we know of that can jump out. And, for those guys to really jump off the field and into the booth, into a number 1 booth, it's probably got to be a quarterback because that's the most known position from a personality standpoint as well. And nobody's, Ben Roethlisberger is not that guy.
Yeah, no, he's definitely not that guy. But a lot of times too, aside from quarterbacks, offensive linemen are usually really good.
Yeah, because they see the game well.
Yeah, and you get some animated guys, some real characters, that play on the offensive line. I mean, think about, I don't know what happened to Baldy with Fox, because Baldy was great when he was doing analysis of games, and of course he does all the stuff on social media and still with the NFL Network too. But I mean, a guy like him, like an offensive lineman with a little bit of a personality and a little bit crazy, those guys tended to sort of pull me in as a viewer.
Remember, who was another guy that was kind of really going to be like the next guy? They thought he was going to be the next Madden. Was Bill Moss.
Yeah, right.
Whatever happened to him?
I don't know. I had no idea.
But he was like bananas, right? Like
he was, yeah.
He was doing the whole thing and, getting.
So was Matt Millen back in the day. He was a pretty good broadcaster before he became a general manager, which he wasn't very good at. And now I guess he's back dabbling in some broadcasting, maybe on the college level. But he was really good for a while, too.
Yeah, he doesn't seem as good after he had a shitty general managership.
Yeah, and then he's had he's had health issues too.
Yeah.
So I don't think it will be him coming back.
So let's move on to Danny Green. You're like, well, Danny Green, why?
Danny Green, what did he do?
It was on some podcast, and he was saying he doesn't think Ben Simmons is going to play March 10th in Philadelphia.
Is that breaking news in the Delaware Valley?
Yeah, I don't see any scenario where Ben Simmons plays March 10th in Philadelphia against the Sixers.
No, I don't either. I mean, he hasn't played yet for the Nets, and I think it would be a very convenient thing for him to take another, 2 weeks or so. It's not even maybe 2 weeks off and start up with the Nets right after the Sixers game. I do not see that happening. That's why I'm anticipating and so looking forward to these two teams facing off somewhere down the road in the playoffs, because then you can't sit them. I mean,
because then he can't hide.
Right. Exactly.
This whole thing with him, like, I don't see him playing in that game at all, because The dude, I think, is just so soft and so butthurt. It's just so bad. And how can your new teammates respect you if you don't want to get on? You're not
Yeah.
going to your team and saying, "Put me on that floor
Right.
against my former team."
Yep.
The fact that if he doesn't play in that game, and I don't think he will, to me, if he's my new teammate, I'm going, "Dude, are you serious?
Yeah.
You're trying to avoid this?"
Right. No, I
That's
mean his brand has taken a beating,
yeah,
since this whole thing went down. Since he passed up the shot in the playoff series against the Hawks, and he could do so much for it if he did exactly what you just said, like say, "Hey,
yeah,
I want to play. Let's embrace this thing." Go out there and sort of like, yeah, the crowd's going to be giving it to him. Let's go. Well, give me
yeah.
more.
Take it
I'm
on.
gonna I'm gonna feed off of it and use it as motivation and a positive thing and show Philadelphia what you passed up on. You know what I
Yeah, to
mean?
me, it's going to be fuck you factor.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
I don't get it, but look, you're right. His brand and just his mentality is totally different than I would ever have respect for because it's just a lack of competitor. Um, Speaking of kind of a guy getting into it with the crowd, were you surprised Juwan Howard got the suspension that he got, or did you think it was appropriate?
No, well, I didn't think he should be fired. Okay, there was a lot of
I
people
didn't
out there.
either.
I think
Yeah,
immediately they were saying, "Oh, he's got to be gone." He's gone now. He's got some anger issues, and I don't know that they've put in his punishment like some sort of anger management type of thing because he's had issues in the past. He went
yeah,
after Mark Turgeon, the former Maryland coach in the Big Ten tournament, I believe, last year, and pulled a John Chaney on him, so telling him he was going to kill him.
yeah,
So he's got a little bit of he's got a short fuse and some anger issues, gets very emotional. And I saw the end of that game. Wisconsin took the timeout. Here's the thing. Michigan was still pressing. So
yeah,
if I'm Wisconsin, if you're still pressing me, I have every right to call a timeout
yeah,
and coach my team because this game is over and we won it. But we're coaching for the next game. We're coaching for the Big Ten tournament, the NCAA tournament.
yeah.
And I want to coach these guys, against the press in this situation. It's just a sort of a teaching moment. And I had no issue with him calling timeout. Obviously he did, but his real issue was that the Wolverines got their ass kicked.
Yeah.
And they're having a rough season. I mean, it's very touch and go whether they're going to make the postseason tournament at all.
Yeah.
They got a game coming up against Rutgers that I think Rutgers is going to win. That could really put Michigan in a real bad spot. So I had no issue with the suspension for the rest of the regular season. It would have been fine if it was for the rest of the season, however far they go. For me, I mean, Phil Martelli, does he step up? Is he the guy? Has he been named the interim coach going forward?
I guess. I mean, he's the most senior guy on that staff.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. I haven't seen anything in that regard, but
I had no issue with the suspension though, but I don't think he should have been fired.
Yeah, I mean, if he's pressing, I have no problem with the Wisconsin coach calling a timeout. And boy, he was rip shit pissed though.
Yeah, oh yeah, totally.
But and then after Har, I love when something like this happens because then you have people coming out. I forget who it was. Somebody came out and said, "Well, we should just do away with the handshake line."
Yeah.
And I go, "Well, wait a minute." Because one guy can't conduct himself right, we should all get rid of it.
Yeah.
That's the solution in today's stupid world.
That's not the solution. And I was mistaken. They already played Rutgers last night. They beat Rutgers, actually. Their big test coming up is against Illinois this Sunday. Illinois is ranked 15th in the country, and that's a home game for Michigan. So, but they're 16-11 right now. So they basically, I think, would have to almost win out to really lock themselves up into the postseason tournament. So they ended up beating Rutgers. But yeah, we did not get rid of the handshake line just because two teams went out. I mean, this is a rivalry too. Let's not forget that.
Yes.
I mean, things get heated. I went to Temple. My coach went off on people, and so I'm not going to sit here and say, oh yeah, this he's out of line. He needs to be fired and get rid of all these handshake lines. No way. Yeah. It's a great, it's not hockey handshakes like it is in a playoff series where, that's real tradition there. But I have no issue with teams being able to get together and say, hey, good game, nice work, great job. We'll see you in the tournament, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, to get rid of it, to me, that's one of those 2022 type things.
Yeah, right.
One thing happened, nobody can do it ever again.
Yep.
Yeah, it's such bullshit.
Cancel it.
Yeah,
cancel the handshakes after basketball games because Juwan Howard slap punched an assistant coach. Yeah,
you know what I'm going to do, Harry? I'm going to start a GoFundMe for the Handshake Line. What else do you got going on? Phil Mickelson was in the news, I saw.
Yeah, he's had a bad couple of weeks, man. I'll tell you. He's laying low right now, and I don't know if we see him until the Masters next time, but boy,
which isn't that far off, Harry.
No, it really isn't. But man, it's funny how he became the face of this whole movement for this Saudi golf league. It was really kind of spearheaded, by Greg Norman, who is also not very universally liked among the the current crew of PGA Tour players. And now Mickelson is now the new pariah. And, some of the things that he said, I'm like, what? Yeah. Like he basically was calling out a murderous regime in Saudi Arabia and trying to use it as like, these guys are bad dudes, but I'm going to try to leverage their money to take on the greedy PGA Tour, who are also bad dudes. Like it made no sense to me whatsoever. Yeah. And he had no support, and all the players alienated him. There was no DeChambeau, Dustin Johnson, some of the other big names, Rory McIlroy. He called him out. Billy Horschel called him out. Pat Perez, who a lifelong buddy of his, is like, scratching his head and wondering what the hell's going on in his life. Like there might be some other shoe to drop here. As far as, what's happening with Phil Mickelson on a personal level, I don't know, but it was just a crazy couple of days. And I know there's a book coming out about him, which I can't wait to read, actually, by Alan Shipnuck, who was the guy who put out the quotes, which actually started really started the firestorm that led to him now losing his KPMG partnership. He lost, I think, Workday is non-renewing him. Nobody knows what's going on with Callaway as his manufacturer. So wow. It's unbelievable how you can like establish and build a brand for yourself in 30 plus years. Okay. And have it all come undone with a couple of statements.
Yeah. And
amazing.
His long statement that he put out, the one thing he mentioned in the very beginning of it is these were off the record comments and taken out of context.
That's what everybody says when they say something stupid and it gets out there, and then they feel, they have the punishment. I think that might have been like, oh my God, like this is going to kill me. Now I got to go blame the writer who took it out of context. And also it was off the record. Off the record, from what I understand, has to be a mutually agreed upon thing. In other words, if the subject says, hey, this is an off the record comment, and the journalist says, no, I don't do off the record, this isn't off the record, then either you don't tell the guy, or if you tell him, you got to realize this is going to get out there.
Yeah. So and off the record has to be acknowledged by both parties. You can't just say, hey, OTR, or off the record, blah, 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 and expect him to abide by it without agreeing.
Yeah, especially when he's writing a book about you.
Yeah, and if he if he does agree and then goes and puts it out there, then shame on that guy.
Correct.
We don't know that, and you better have proof of that. This is like enlisting Bin Laden to find Capone.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Why even get in bed with them and kind of sanction it that way to go after the PGA Tour? It just seemed odd to me. And you're right. Like, I hate the fact that, he's become now the villain so quickly. And it was one of the most likable guys.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden now he's a villain. And McIlroy, I thought, buried him.
He did. And when
I don't want to kick a guy when he's down, but
I'm not going to kick him, but I'm going to do an elbow drop right on his throat.
Yeah. And then curb stomp him after.
Right.
I mean, he destroyed Mickelson. Yeah. Absolutely destroyed him.
Yeah.
It's unreal. What else is going on? Anything else in the world of sports that needs to be discussed? I mean, it's a weird time of year.
It is. It's rumor time.
Baseball is a total joke. They got a false deadline of Monday before they start canceling regular season games.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
I love this sport.
Yeah.
I think I love it now.
Oh, you love it when they don't play.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, okay. There you go.
I appreciate baseball more when they don't play, so I don't have to hear about it.
Yeah.
Because the sport, this sport kicks themselves in the balls more than anybody I've ever seen.
Yeah, they do. They really do. But I feel bad for the people like down here in Florida, and in Arizona for spring training, that some of the people that really, look at that as revenue, a little, they work at the stadiums. And, you think about those people, like the little people, if you will, that, that it's a source of income for them, and then when they come back up to Citizens Bank Park, the people that work the vending stands, that work in the parking lots and all those kind of things, they could, go without any income. I mean, it's start thinking about that. Everybody wants to focus on these billionaires arguing with millionaires. Think about the trickle down effect.
Oh, yeah, you're right, and that's the problem. Is these people depend on the sport, depend on this league, to make a living, and they sit there and they're making so much money, and all these people get hurt. And all these gazillionaires are arguing and bickering again and again and again.
Yeah.
And everybody gets hurt, but the people that are sitting there with their cush and tons of money, it's unbelievable to me.
And then a guy
that's why I'm pissed at it.
Well, then me too. And that guy like Scott Boras, has one of his clients turned down a, multi-million-dollar contract as if it's like not good enough. I mean, something's wrong.
Yeah, it's so broken, and it's just such a mess. So when does the truckster depart North Florida and start heading north, or start heading to Mom's first and then north?
Just this afternoon, early afternoon. I got to go get the wife, a nice little big, breakfast, and she needs to be pampered a little bit, before I strap her
French toast, huh?
A little French toast. They've got this red velvet French toast, and red velvet waffles and pancakes down here. It seems to be a thing in a lot of the establishments.
Yeah, everything's red velvet now.
Yeah, I know. Maybe we'll get her some of that before I strap her into the co-pilot seat.
Okay. Is there a lot of conversation on the drive, huh?
Every now and then, a good song comes on, the satellite radio, and it'll get us going. Other than that, I'm just, I'm putting it in high gear and moving.
Now, is that 60s on 6, Har? Is that what you guys are listening to?
No. There's various Pandora stuff. We'll go with the Bluetooth, or we'll go straight up satellite SX, XM radio.
Oh, that's not a bad plan. All right, let's put a wrap on this episode. Let's tell everybody about Parx game. What was the play you liked again for Friday?
I took the Temple Owls plus 11.5 tonight. Actually, it's Thursday night down in Memphis against the Memphis Tigers.
All right, so that's the play. Get the Parx Sportsbook app, download it, put it on your phone, and it's real simple to use. And again, you just get the app, download it, deposit, $500 risk-free bet, your first bet. No promo required. Real simple. And just check it out. Even if you're, using another service, grab the Parx Sportsbook app and take advantage of the $500 bet and see how easy Parx is to use. They're a local company. We know them. We like them. We trust them. Easy deposit, fast payouts, the whole thing. And make sure you follow them on the social channels as well. At Parx Sportsbook. Follow them on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Great content there, daily specials, and much more. All right, we'll be back. Are you still on the road next week, Har, for the Odd G's? Are you still on the tour?
No, I'll be on the road next week. One more episode on the road, and then we'll be back home.
All right, you're like who sang that "On the Road Again"? Is that
Willie Nelson? Yeah.
On the road again. I can't wait to get on the road. I can't wait to get on the road again. I love singing his.
The life I love is playing music with my friends. Yeah, I can't wait to get on the road again.
That's great lyrics right there. All right, everybody. That's episode number 12 of the Odd G's podcast presented by Parx Sportsbook. Have a great week. We'll